Hello and welcome to another episode of Turn the Millennials. I am Lindy.
I'm Steffi.
And today we are concluding our 3-part installment of talk shows. We already did morning and afternoons, and now we're doing late night talk shows.
Woo, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, right. Neither of us are late night folks. So
Nope.
We're very late, early. Like we usually go to bed at like 9-10 o'clock. So this is definitely not our wheelhouse, but that's okay. We still remember, we still watch some of these. We still did,
we were teenagers. We stayed up late, like later than we probably should have on school nights and whatever. And I did watch my fair share, but it wasn't they weren't shows that I was like, oh, I gotta make sure I catch Letterman tonight. I did if like NSYNC or Hanson were on, or Britney or someone I actually wanted to see or tape.
Or we would just preset our VCRs to record it for us. There's your millennial moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, geez. But yeah, those late night talk shows, they usually started they were always after the news. So they would start at like 11:35, always.
Yeah. And it even said that in the TV Guide channel thing.
Yep. Not 11:30, 11:35.
Yep. Because apparently he's got to take an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah. News was always 35 minutes. I don't know. I guess it's weird. Yeah, so we all kind of know the standard like evening show. They have the monologue, they have a band, they usually have a couple of guests on, and
they have segments and things like that.
Yeah, I guess like the top tens and
would have is like or was it Johnny Carson with the letter to his forehead and he named 3 things, whatever. Yeah,
some kind of guessing thing or whatever. And
or David Letterman's top 10s.
I'm not sure if Jay Leno did, but I didn't watch it. And then now with Jimmy Fallon.
I did watch a lot of Leno, but I don't remember certain segments. He had like a photo segment where he from paparazzi of celebrities and stuff, and would like make up stories or something about them. I don't know. He would make jokes about the pictures, and it was always usually really pretty funny. But before we jump into that, if you want to get into our millennial moments.
I'm trying to think of what mine was from this week.
Did you pull a me and not write it down?
I don't know if I overtly had like a severe millennial moment this week.
What about in school though? You're with like 18 and 19-year-olds. Like
actually in my morning class, I'm actually with all of the older people. We all got stuck into like the one class, all of us like 30-year-olds. So there's like 4 of us. And the other ones are like young, but there's one girl who she's like 18, but man, that girl is like an old soul. She's got like this more stories sometimes than I have. I'm like, girl, how do you have so many stories right now? Like, seriously. So yeah, I don't know if I had a severe millennial moment this week. Just the generalness of.
It's not often that you have one of those. Usually it's me that has that.
Right. It's true.
I actually had like 2 small ones this week.
What were yours?
And one of them was I really can't remember the context of it because I was at work when it happened, so I just jotted down the main reference of it, and I can't remember how it came to come up. And so this kid and Brandon, were talking, and he's like 22, and he's like a little brother. He's just the greatest. And he said something about, I don't know, he's like, well, take a picture, it lasts longer. Because I was like staring at him for some reason. I was like, I made fun of him and then I stared at him because I didn't know if he understood my insult, because that's just how we rib each other. And he was like, yeah, take a picture, it lasts longer. And I looked at him, I was like, I go to pull out my phone and he's like, no. And I was just like, oh my God. When we said that a lot, like in the 90s as a comeback, we couldn't just take a fucking camera out of our pocket and take a picture. Like,
I mean, some people might have kept their film camera with them all the time with a film in it, but probably not often.
Nobody I've ever met.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now we literally have photos. We can. Yeah.
And then my second one was, okay, so I watched Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Have you watched it yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So the part that made me just feel so fucking old was the part where one of them says that Jay and Silent Bob were like their oldest man. The oldest man I ever met. I'm pretty sure they were alive during the 90s. No way. That was before they even built the internet. Yeah, that was like before they built the pyramids. Like, ouch, guys. Like,
well, clearly these kids don't know their history, that they thought the pyramids were made in the 1990s. But
like, I get where Kevin Smith was going with that,
yeah.
but ouch, bro. Come on.
Ouch, bro.
That was just that instantly like gave me like just added crow's feet. Just added wrinkles, added years to my life.
Actually, it was a little funny. We were watching some videos last night of like, I guess the 2000s country artists. And I'm talking like when Luke Bryan had first come out and stuff like that. So like the prime low-rise jeans with flares in these videos. So it was kind of really funny to watch it and be like, not thinking that fashion is out of place, thinking that fashion is normal because, you know, we lived through it. Like it was that was kind of funny.
I constantly have this argument with Gen Zers at work, constantly high-waisted versus low-rise. And I'm like, guys, like, stop it. Like, it's like, you're never going to convince me that low-rise are awful and they're super fucking cringe. Like, fuck you. That is how I grew up. High-waisted is how you grew up. So I'm not saying anything about your stupid mom fucking jeans. Lay off my goddamn low-rise.
Because it was because we were like that as kids too. We would rag on like people who were still wearing 80s clothes because we were stupid little, you know, kids too. That's so out of fashion. Why are those people like so old?
Like, I really don't think I was that fucking completely forwardly judgmental about other people's fashion choices. Like, I really didn't give a shit what other people wore.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I mean, look at me. I wore pajamas to school almost every fucking day. Like,
but pajamas were actually kind of a trend back then. People actually did kind of wear them for a bit. It was
a thing. Had slippers? Because I had slippers.
I mean, during exam week for sure. Absolutely. People just came in and that thing.
Like, okay, props to the girls who got up early to shower, do their hair, their makeup, spend hours picking out their outfit. Okay, cool. If that's what you want to do. I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm going to roll out of bed 10 minutes before I have to leave the house.
Yeah.
And I'm not changing. I'll change my underwear, obviously, but I'm not changing. I might throw a bra on.
Yeah.
If I had gym that day, yeah, I might wear a bra. So shall we talk about the really cool package that we just received?
Yes. So we got it I picked it up last weekend and we opened them last 2 boxes.
I have mine right here.
Shipped up to us because we did it. We originally sent them. I think, I don't know if we mentioned that we did. We sent a Canadian care package down to our Texas friends.
Yep.
Formidable opponents. And then so in response, they sent us up a fun little American Texas package of fun stuff. Lots of like weird, spicy things. Like concoctions that I thought were the bears, the cherry bombs. There like was like the gummies with like, yes, the bloody bears.
The gummy and bloody bears.
Yes. Those were
crawling in. Okay, I don't even know how to say this word. Is it chamoy or chamoy or
chamoy sauce?
Chamoy and chili sweet and sour.
Yeah.
And I don't hate them. Like, they're not gross.
they're not gross.
Something that I would probably pick up for myself. I'm definitely going to take them to work and share.
I don't know. I want to take the cherry bombs to class and share them with everybody, but that's only on Mondays where the whole class is there. So I got to do it.
I took all of the Oreo cookies that we got to work with me.
Yeah.
Like the Mexican spice, the macchiato, or was it mochaccino?
I think it was mochaccino.
And like coffee flavored.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah, and birthday cake.
Oh, I ate the birthday cake. I think there's like 2 left.
The Mexican spice ones were a huge hit. A lot of people like them. Everyone was like, oh my God, it tastes like Christmas. And I was like, yeah, you're right. They totally do.
Right.
I like the coffee ones. Those were delicious. I like the birthday cake ones. Those were also delicious. But apparently Food Basics sells birthday cake Oreos all the time.
Interesting. But yeah, they don't have all English on it like the Americans do. We have to have half English and French. So it is kind of fun in that respect to see theirs because it's not all French.
That aspect.
Yeah. And it was funny, actually, I was watching a
I'm
YouTube
gonna have a
video the
Twinkie
other day.
now, even though it's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and the girl was talking about the HEB or Heb grocery stores or whatever in Texas, and I was just like, I know what that is now because I've received cookies from that place.
BT Dub guys, good fucking call on the beaver nuggets.
Apparently this is a thing. I know, like, because even Lindsay said the same thing. She's like, they better have sent those to you, because I picked them up with my friend Lindsay, who's in Buffalo, and she flat out told me in that box there better be beaver nuggets, and we got them. So they were pretty good. I haven't opened mine yet, so Kevin hasn't tried them. I've been waiting and savoring them. That's why they haven't been opened yet. I've been eating everything else.
I took a sandwich bag filled with them to work with me.
Yeah.
To get like everybody to try them, because I was like, these are fucking delicious. And I really want to try them in milk. They would be a delicious cereal. Like Captain Crunch.
Right.
Better. I don't know. And everyone loved them. There was not one person that didn't like them.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what is a beaver nugget? And I'm like, picture a cheese puff, but instead of cheese, covered in caramel. Fucking delicious is what it is. Just eat it. I'm enjoying my Twinkie.
I gave Kevin the Twinkies.
Joseph was the one that wrote the note, right?
I think so, yeah.
He said that he found our Canadian Twinkies a little dry. Or was that you that said that?
I don't know.
I know, but anyway, these ones are a little dry as well. Just saying.
All Twinkies are dry. Let's be real. It's just a lot of cake. You know. Delicious. Yeah. I'm more of a cupcake fan myself. You know, the chocolate cupcake with the loopy loop.
And what else we get? Nerds.
Yes, you're nerds. I haven't tried any of the spices or the like barbecue or the buffalo sauce and stuff like that. Yeah, the gummy.
Like gummy worms.
Yeah, gummy worms. But pasteled.
Trolley sour by trawlers.
Yeah.
Gummy worms. Gummy worms. Just say gummy worms.
Right.
Wow, that's a mouthful. Just say gummy worms. What are these? I don't know, but they're fuego. They're fire.
Oh, Takis. Yeah, we have those. We do have those up here. I do see them around. I haven't tried them.
Heat. Mm-hmm. I think Aaron might be enjoying these instead of me.
Right.
Yeah.
I have seen them at the Dollar Tree over here.
I'm trying to build up my spice tolerance. Oh, and then I just love these. The beer cozies and shot glass.
Yes.
I love them. They're fantastic. Good call, guys.
And my sticker. I put my sticker on my Yeti.
Yep.
Because, you know, your Yetis are always for your stickers.
Huh. Oh, yeah. My sticker's right here.
Yeah. Inside the cozy. Yeah.
Inside the cozy.
Yeah.
It's going to go on my new laptop that I'm using right now, because I get this laptop because Aaron gets a new laptop through work.
Nice.
So this laptop becomes mine and you can get your old one back.
Yeah. Right. Even though, because I've got my nicer one.
It was around 2 years ago, about this time is when you brought up the idea of the podcast to me.
I remember us being in shorts talking about it.
We didn't start recording until October of 2 years ago, but like late October, I think, was the first time we recorded.
We were talking about it and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we didn't release forever because we were just too afraid. And then we just learned it doesn't matter. We just release. Just do it. So I guess we should get into our actual now podcast topic. Hey. Late night talk shows. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't qualify as drinking because that was not off topic. That's our usual intro where we talk about crap and then we get to the topic.
Although if you want to have a drink, it's up to you.
You'll have plenty of time to drink. We'll get off topic lots.
Yes, you could have a shot there if you wanted to. Totally up to you. Yes. So if you didn't see on our last episode, I mentioned our like millennials drinking game because we just kept talking about it in the episode, and just people would be like, why are they just keep saying drink? So in the show notes of last week's episode, if you want to catch it, it's in there. Our millennials podcast drinking game.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
We do, yeah.
Do it on a Friday night, not while you're working, because you don't want to get drunk while working. It's not a good.
Well,
not a good
some
thing.
of you might want to.
I guess.
I won't not condone that.
But we don't condone. We don't want you to lose your job, so we are not condoning it in that respect. If you lose your job, it's not.
Meet Steph the angel on your shoulder. Meet Lindy the devil on your shoulder.
Right. I do not want to be held responsible. So Late night talk shows. So I guess we'll kind of start with like, I guess the one that everybody knows because it's actually been generations, I believe. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Kind of where we're going to start. I guess, I mean, first it started with Johnny Carson and a couple other people. But our generation knew it as Jay Leno. He started in May of 1992 and went until May 2009. And then I guess it took a little hiatus, or he decided to leave. Conan took over for a year. It went back to him apparently in 2010 and then ended in 2014. And then it was Jimmy Fallon who took over. And Jimmy Fallon has been doing The Tonight Show ever since.
And I hear he's doing a pretty good job at it. I heard it's quite successful. I don't really watch it because
he's been doing it at least for almost a decade now, I guess. So, he's doing pretty good. I don't mind it. I catch some of his, like, on Facebook, some of the segments or the sketches and things that he does from here and there. Like, I catch a bunch of those.
Stuff that goes viral. Yeah.
Right. Him and J-Lo doing the evolution of dances and stuff like that. And yeah, there's been a bunch of different fun things he's done. But yeah, Jay Leno. So like I said, he took over for Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson did it for God knows how long.
I always thought it was David Letterman that took over for Johnny Carson.
No.
What the
So basically, yeah, Jay Leno that took over for Johnny Carson. What did it say? So he actually competed against David Letterman, because what it was two different, they were basically different networks, NBC's versus CBS's late night.
Yeah, no, I just always thought it was like Johnny Carson was before David Letterman, not Jay Leno, but whatever. It's not like I knew that much about it anyway. That's just what I always thought.
Oh, so it says here, David Letterman wanted to move into the earlier time slot from his late night spot after The Tonight Show. And he was also considered by many as a natural successor, despite Leno having been Carson's permanent guest host for several years. Carson always favored Letterman, notably Carson, who had been interviewed by Letterman, made 2 appearances on Letterman's rival CBS show, made no mention of Leno during his final shows, and regularly sent Letterman monologue jokes in his final years. So it seems like Letterman, essentially, people thought he was going to be the replacement, but ultimately Leno was the one who took over it. Okay. So you weren't wrong about thinking it was Letterman, but I think it's because he also had his own show at the time. When did it say Letterman? Yeah, Letterman. No, actually, Letterman was 93. That wouldn't have made sense. Letterman was 93 to 2015.
Had a show established, like why? Yeah. Why would he want to change it?
I don't know.
Considering, like, I thought like he had a pretty successful show.
It looked like he kind of had 2 shows actually when I just Googled it just now, because I looked like David Letterman and it said like late night with David Letterman. It was like 89 to 93. And then I think 93 was when he has the one that he had now until 2015. He must have had 2 iterations of it and maybe different networks or different time zones or something like that. Who knows? The late night game is a weird game.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I'm going to also say that my notes are going to be on the fly a little bit more today, guys, because it was a busy week. We actually had to go to class this week. So it's been a little busier. It hasn't been the at-home learning. So it was a little busier this week, and time got away from me. So my notes were not as detailed as the last couple episodes. So we're picking them up on the fly. But so next, I guess as we're talking about it, we've got David Letterman. His ran from 93 to 2015. So that's almost 20 years. I personally not a fan of David Letterman myself. He just kind of always seemed more douchebaggery feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say condescending.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he just seemed like in his talk show, he was always pretentious, better than everybody else. And then like whenever he, of course, later eventually when you watch them in hindsight, whenever he was talking to like women, he was just like derogatory and rude, and just he was just a piece of shit. It seemed like, I don't know if it was an older generation that loved him. I'm glad he's clearly not around anymore, but to each their own. That's why I guess Jimmy Fallon, he's just more nicer. And
I don't know, maybe it was just a sense of self-entitlement.
That too.
I don't know, successful white male in a male-dominated industry.
And those big gap teeth.
Yeah. Hey, that's how you tell it was him on cartoon when they parodied him.
They always had the big gap teeth. That was I guess kind of what he was known for. I always remember on Tiny Toons they used to make fun of him with the gap teeth.
Animaniacs too, I think.
Yeah, that Steven Spielberg cartoons.
That world.
That world.
Yeah. This again, I only watched it when like my favorite artists were on it. And at that, I'd probably tape it. Like so
you could fast forward.
NSYNC was on like an entire episode, not just the musical guest, but they were like the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I recorded it, and I was talking to Catherine about the same time. I've told you this story before. This is the one where she was asleep the whole time during our entire hour-long conversation while watching Letterman simultaneously, and her commenting on things happening in the show.
That's hilarious.
And then the next day, she has no recollection of this conversation at all.
That's funny.
I was like, well, it's a good thing I taped it then, because you obviously missed it.
Right.
Even though you watched it, was commenting on what was happening, you missed it, apparently.
You missed it. So it says here, in 2002, he was ranked number 7 in TV Guide's greatest TV shows of all time. As the host of Late Night and Late Show for more than 30 years, he surpassed Carson as the longest running late night talk show host in 2013. Yeah, I guess he had 30 years of late night hosting. Still doesn't give you the opportunity to be a dick. Yeah,
deflate the ego a little bit, maybe.
Right. And then he later tried to do that Netflix show or something like that. I don't know. There's some kind of Netflix show, David Letterman, same thing, where he's interviewing people, but not really. Check it on Netflix. I don't know. I never watched it. I just know I've saw it. Because you know when Netflix presents new things to you and you're like, why?
Kind of like how Jerry Seinfeld has that like coffee in cars.
Riding in cars with comedians.
Riding in cars, drinking coffee or something with Jerry Seinfeld.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, yeah.
So his show was succeeded by The Late Night with Stephen Colbert in 2015. I thought Stephen Colbert started way earlier than that.
I thought he did.
But that's what it says here on Wikipedia.
Well, all right then.
Yeah. There's countless, stupid videos of David Letterman being stupid David Letterman. So if you want to go see them, just go check them out on YouTube. I think there was like a Madonna. I think there was a Drew Barrymore one, a Cher one, like just countless.
And he had blames it on his generation when that's bullshit.
Right. Like we said, the only thing that he was kind of really known for, I guess, was the top 10s that he would always do. Sometimes they were funny. Sometimes they were just dumb.
I think he was also known for his house band too.
Oh, Paul Schaefer, I think. Yeah, the bald guy or whatever it was. Paul Schaefer. Yes. We love you, Paul Schaefer. Yes. Because isn't he also Canadian too? Yes. Yeah. Paul Schaefer, Canadian. We love you. Yes. So I guess next we'll move on to Craig Ferguson, who was another late night talk show. He actually ran from 2005 to 2014. So really it was like Jay Leno and David Letterman who really kind of owned the scene for quite a while.
Yeah, ask anybody to just name a late night talk show host and it was one of those two.
Yeah.
I would say they were the most popular.
In the 90s.
Or like in the late 80s, it was Arsenio.
Yes, late 80s, it was Arsenio. Early 90s, yes. Arsenio Hall for sure. Woo, 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 woo. Which again, they make fun of on Tiny Toons and Animaniacs.
And Full House.
And Full House, yeah.
And probably every show that came out of that time period.
Right.
Every sitcom had an Arsenio reference. I remember the episode of Full House where Michelle was like, can I stay up and watch Arsenio? When she wouldn't go to bed because she was daddy's princess.
Yeah.
Get in trouble for swimming in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So watch Arsenio. And she brings out a little shopping cart with a KFC bucket in it of chicken. Because they're always eating fried chicken on Full House.
Right. Late night, gotta have it. So
like every episode.
Yeah. Craig Ferguson was a Scottish comedian. So if you vaguely remember the Scottish guy who was doing it. He was pretty funny. He had from
acquired taste, I find. Like I found a lot of people they either liked them or they didn't. There was like no gray area.
Yeah, you didn't like really. But also, I think because he was Scottish, a lot of people just didn't get the humor because it's kind of like that
different
British humor, so it's a little different. It's not the classic American.
Yeah, like Australian humor, I'm finding
weird.
Different.
Yeah, I know,
but completely different from ours.
I know. So Craig ran from 2005 to 2014. It followed the Late Show. So he ran from the 12:35 hour. So yeah, there would be 11:35 talk shows and then there were 12:35 late night talk show hosts. So he was the net after David Letterman.
Where's Conan O'Brien land in there?
Conan
Conan O'Brien.
Conan
Conan
O'Brien.
O'Brien. Conan O'Brien.
Late Night with Conan ran.
Go shopping for leather furniture.
Damn you, Wikipedia. I'm not donating right now. Leave me alone. Debuted in 1993.
For those of you who didn't get that reference, it was from Sugar and Spice, just saying.
He ran until February 20th, 2009, when he was supposed to take over, or when he took over the Late Show for a year from Jay Leno. And then after that, he went back, I believe, to TBS. I think his late night show is on TBS now, I think, or something.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think he's got another one out now. But yeah, he ran until September 3rd, 1993, until February 20th, 2009. He aired also during the 12:37 hour with Andy Richter on as his kind of like sidekick for a while.
He is one that I watched once in a while. Nothing else was on. I didn't like the guests on Leno or Letterman.
Yeah.
Like that. But he was on later, wasn't he? Was he on later?
12:35. Yeah, Conan was the 12:35.
Oh.
So he was one of the later ones.
Yeah, maybe that's why I never really watched it, because it was on way too late.
Right, way too late. Like I could catch the 11:35 late night talk shows, but for me to catch the 12:35 ones, forget it.
I could justify staying up till 12:30, not 1:30.
I couldn't even, like, when we would watch like Mad TV at 11 or SNL at 11:30, I could never stay up till the end of it.
The Living Color, I think, was on at 12. Either 11 or 12.
11 or 12. Yeah. Mad TV was like 11 o'clock. And yeah, I would never stay up for.
But Saturday night was on Saturday, so whatever. But yeah, like I don't know how my kids do it. They don't do it anymore, but they used to. Like Aiden would be up until like 4 a.m. playing video games and stuff, and he'd be up for school the next day, like really tired, but he'd be up. But
you gotta remember, we were that young and stupid too.
Yeah, now they cherish their sleep a little bit. Riley still stays up pretty late, but I mean she's 13. Who's not going to do that?
Right.
I did it. Like,
exactly.
As long as they up for school and they're not cranky with us the next day.
Yeah. So Conan, if you don't remember, is also the redheaded guy. You know, kind of a little bit more of the ginger. He's generally depicted in cartoons with the forehead. Yes, a little bit of a big forehead. This is true. Yeah. I don't really. Yeah. Overall, I think he was. Pirate Franks would call it a 5 head. I don't think he was very like. He wasn't too much of a jerk. He never really seemed like he was like too many scandals about him. Wasn't too salacious or anything like that. The biggest scandal was that he got, the Tonight Show and then taken away from him. Whatever. Like that was. He wasn't too happy about that, but For those hardcore How I Met Your Mother fans, you will notice him in the background of one of their episodes. No speaking line. He's not featured in any way, shape, or form. He's just an extra. And it's great. And I point him out every time I watch the episode. So the next, like I said, Arsenio Hall ran from 89 to 2000 or till 1994, not 2004. Geez, no. Only like 5 years, but he still made his impression on the late night talk show scene in the 90s. He's outside of our 95 to 05 realm, but he had he's worth mentioning. Like he has to be. Yeah. Was a pretty iconic, because back in the late 80s for a Black man to have their own talk show, like we were talking about that with Mantel Williams, right? It's in a white male dominated industry. It was amazing for Arsenio to get his own show, but I don't know Arsenio's story. Like, how did he come to having his own talk show? Like, was he an actor? Like, I think he was a comedian, actually. What does it say on here? What is his description? Variety talk show. Under first series, he had been a host on The Late Show in 1987, another talk show on Fox. After the dismissal of Joan Rivers, he was given a 13-week run during which he became unexpectedly popular. During the monologue of his final appearance as host, he stated that the reason he had agreed to only do 13 weeks was because that was long as he was able to stay, as he had plans to do other things. He subsequently began working on Coming to America, ultimately signed with Paramount, had a fairly long, so I guess kind of like, an actor slash comedian. America. I forgot about that. That was him. He was one of 2 late night shows to premiere on January 89. The other was the Pat Sajak show on CBS.
Is that before Wheel of Fortune, I'm assuming?
No, it was hosted by longtime Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak. Unlike Sajak, Hall benefited from the prior experience of hosting a late night program when compared with Sajak's lack of emceeing experience outside of his wheel duties. And his show premiered exactly a week after Sajak, giving him a head start.
That's funny.
So another one we had that kind of came out. So along the same, I guess, realm with Arsenio was the Chris Rock show. He had a talk show for 3 seasons, was from 97 to 2000. Originally, it was like a sketch talk show. Originally said they were aired on HBO.
I think I checked that out a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't recall any episodes, though.
No, me neither. It was written by Louis C.K.
Okay.
The theme composer was Grandmaster Flash. Producer Wanda Sykes as well. So, you know.
I love Wanda Sykes.
It had some good behinds it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ran from 97 to 2000. And Chris Rock. Everybody loves Chris Rock. There are some things here about who was on it and stuff. But again, it kind of Tracy Morgan and Erykah Badu. Arsenio Hall and Puff Daddy. Conan O'Brien and Wyclef Jean, Whoopi Goldberg, Casey JoJo. So yeah, he was all over the place too. He had like everybody on his show. Bobby Brown, talking to you, Bobby B. George Carlin and Usher.
Oh, George Carlin, R.I.P.
R.I.P. and Usher.
Usher.
Did you see that post where Usher created? I posted it the other. Usher recreated his My Way album cover. So My Way was his very first album in like 97, and Usher recreated the album cover. And he looks like he hasn't freaking aged a goddamn day. Bastard. 25 fucking years.
That man does not age. That
right?
Man does not age. No.
25, him and Pharrell.
The Faculty. That's a movie we have to talk about soon. The Faculty.
Ooh, yes, I love The Faculty.
Oh, so good.
So, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking. Who am I looking up? What am I looking up?
I mean, you have, because you could tell you were 16 in that photo, but still, you could tell.
Well, he's heavily filtered. You can obviously tell he's filtered. Like, no, I'm sorry. No man that age skin is that smooth. That is filtered.
I'd be surprised.
But if it's not, which I think it is, but if it's not, good for you, Usher.
Right. But look at Pharrell. That man also hasn't aged a freaking day. He's a vampire.
Who?
Pharrell.
Oh yeah,
he's also a vampire.
Forgetting like the king of not aging, Paul Rudd.
Right.
Like
actually, you can kind of tell. Now he's starting to get there.
So fucking handsome.
Oh yeah, and Timothy Olyphant also I've noticed is another man who has not looked like he's aged a day.
Pretty.
Right. And so
but I've also heard like that Paul Rudd is just an amazing human being.
Oh yeah, it doesn't deny me.
And I don't not believe that.
Right.
I believe that tooth and nail.
Every day.
I need to believe that about Paul Rudd.
Yes. So the next one we have on our list, drink, is the Dennis Miller Live. This was another one that was on HBO. Yeah, the guy with the beard. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy with the beard. Yep. Ran from 94 to 2002, received 11 Emmy nominations, also 6 times for the Writers Actors Guild of America for best writing for a comedy variety sketch, won 3 of those 6 times. So the opening thing was Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Right? That's hilarious. The format, the show
ever remind me of the movie Pixels.
Yeah. The show was mainly characterized by its simplicity. The show had a small set, no house band, and limited lighting. It mainly consists of Miller speaking to the largely unseen studio audience on a darkened stage.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy. So maybe that's why people enjoyed it. It was just that simplistic. We didn't have HBO up here, so some of these were a little vague for us because we didn't, unless you had TMN, that was the only real way you got some of them, and not everything from HBO went on TMN. Only certain things from HBO went on TMN. So some of these we didn't get full access to, so we only remember them through the movies or the commercials on Fox or whatever, or tabloid magazines talking about them or things like that.
Yeah.
Then we have Howard Stern. Obviously, he had a late night talk show because it's Howard Stern. Why didn't
Oh, Howard Stern. I watched that one a bit.
Yep. 90 to 92. I feel like there was another one also. Oh, from 94 to 2005 on the E Network. Yeah, it was basically based off the radio shock jock Howard Stern and having
he was basically just like shock value talk show.
Yeah. That's all he kind of ever really was. Yeah, it was late night talk show. It was on E Network or,
Remember the contest where he was like if you're blonde and have big boobs or whatever, come down and try to catch a hot dog in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you win like 20 grand or something.
And then there was his movie Private Parts that also came out in the 90s. Or
that I don't think I've ever watched because no.
Right? It was like he was
There's
just
no way I'd be able to get that 2 hours back.
I know. He was he was an acquired
He was definitely an acquired taste. I didn't hate him. I didn't think like ill of him. I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah. I same here. I wasn't a fan of that. Like also when we were, in the 90s, we were still young. Like those sex kind of jokes were still sort of out of our realm. They were kind of over our heads almost sometimes. So yeah, Howard Stern just shock jock a little bit before our time, a little bit, not really our thing. He's still around too, which is kind of funny. Still doing.
And he was at the height of his popularity when we were probably like just below the appropriate age for him.
Yeah, like I was still in like
quite old enough yet.
Yeah, because I think like Private Parts was like 97 or 98 when it came out.
Yeah,
so we were like
14, 15.
Right?
12,
13, 12. Yeah, we were just a little bit like I'm sure we could have watched it and our parents, but we wouldn't have gotten a lot of stuff about it. Then next, this one actually I forgot and realized this one was on this long. The Daily Show. So first started with Craig Kilborn in 96 to 98. Then Jon Stewart took over in 99 until 2015. And then now it is Trevor Noah. Danielle was a big Jon Stewart fan. So she would watch this one from time to time. And then also, like we were talking about earlier in The Faculty, Jon Stewart was in it also. Playing the teacher, and I love at the end when he's still he's got the eye and
the eye with a pen, and so he does.
Right. Jon Stewart, also a comedian. He
dies and die.
Right. Jon Stewart, comedian, actor, and then just found his niche on the Daily Show, and did it, like I said, from 99 to 2015. He did it for quite a while. He was good at it, hilarious,
Mm-hmm.
It was a half an hour one instead of the hour-long format like some of the other talk shows are. Political satire and news satires in contrast with the pop culture focus.
I don't know why, because I haven't looked it up. I just haven't. But Jon Stewart has been in the news lately for something super positive, sticking up for something. I don't remember what it is.
It is
like
also,
I remember seeing
this show has won 24 Primetime Emmy Awards.
Because I remember seeing it on Facebook.
Yeah, Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
Blast DeSantis over devilish migrant flights 2 days ago. Jon Stewart begs Apple to share Red Sox. Oh.
But he really stands up for minorities. Like he's such a huge advocate for like LGBT community and women's health and like health rights, their bodies. And like, he's a huge voice for those that don't have a loud enough one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the latest thing with these immigrants being flown from Florida to West Virginia, is West Virginia, Vermont, or was it? I think it was West Virginia. And they were welcomed with open arms, and like Jon
from Texas to Florida to Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, that's it. It was somewhere with a V. Like he basically like condemned the politicians of Texas and Florida and blah blah blah.
Well,
Like I wouldn't be surprised if he refused work out of there.
yeah. Well, even during on the Daily Show, he always kind of touched
Yes,
on
yeah,
political
absolutely. But
so he's always been for a cause for sure. And I think that's
but
why everyone loved him so much
yeah,
back like on the show, was because he was for a cause. He had no problem speaking out against these stupid things versus politically incorrect with Bill Maher, where that guy was another white fucking pompous piece of shit white guy. Ugh.
does Rick Mercer follow along these lines?
Uh,
Because I've always liked Rick Mercer, but he never really had like
he
a
was
talk show.
Canadian
Like he
though.
didn't interview guests and stuff, but he like
Was
had like
well, no,
a
it was Canadian. It was the Rick
kind of
Mercer report.
yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Because would that have been considered a late night? Would
I
that be
don't
in this category?
Possibly. I didn't put it down on my
was-
Canadians. I
It
forgot
was
about it, but
politically
we can.
inclined. It was politically inclined, and he always made like some really good points. Like
Right.
so, I don't know. Just shout out to Rick Mercer, I guess.
Right.
I love the way he pronounces his R's.
Oh, Canadians. We are
They're
so...
heavy on the R's out in the Maritimes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So then next we had the Keenan Ivory Wayans show. Was only again another short-lived one, 1997 to 99. Had
his fame with In Living Color.
yes, and his brothers with In Living Color, and all of the
Mhm.
other Wayans that were out there.
Oh,
So late night
whole
syndicated
family.
talk show, ran from 97 until March 1998. Opening monologue and some comedy sketches. So of course, in the same vein, probably as with In Living Color. His house band was an all-female band called Ladies of the Night.
Nice.
So good on him.
Because I don't think
I didn't
watched
either.
it.
Again, only one season though, so probably why
But I remember hearing about it. I might have checked it out once or twice, but
exactly. But with one season and late night, it wasn't a
yeah, it wasn't stand out for us.
It wasn't a staple. The Martin Short Show. Yes,
now, this is one I wish I knew about. I don't think I've ever really heard of this one.
It was 2 seasons in 1999, so 99 and 2000. Again, same kind of syndicated talk show based on the late night model, hosted by Martin Short with announcer sidekick Michael McGrath. I don't know. It was on.
I love Martin Short movies in the 90s, like Captain Ron, Captain Ron.
Short performed poorly in the ratings, so it didn't.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Didn't have much on here, but I do like kind of vaguely remember it. The RuPaul show. So before RuPaul is the RuPaul that on Drag Race, they had a show, that late night show. I believe it was, I want to say it was one of the other like HBO type channels that had it. And she was always dressed in drag as well on that show. I remember usually. That's not the one that premiered in 2019. Okay. Hard to find because all they're showing is the new RuPaul stuff. See, this is the problem with internet people. When you're trying to find the old school stuff, you find the new stuff. But yes, either way, she had I think it was like 94, 96 or something like that. Like it was in the 90s.
Why don't you just go to IMDb? Wouldn't it be in there?
Oh, there we go. 96 to 98. There we go. Variety talk show. VH1. Sorry. So that's what I knew it was one of those cable channels. Had many famous musical guests and was notable as being one of the first national television programs in the United States hosted by an openly gay host. And Michelle Visage, of course, was her co-host because she's that co-host on everything that she does. They be besties. So it ran October 96 to September 1998. They featured comedy skits, comedic field reports. Just the RuPaul show.
I don't think I ever watched it because I don't think I had VH1.
No, it was again one.
Wasn't that an American station?
It was. So again, we had one of those situations where there's a lot of times we couldn't get some of these because they just
unless
weren't
you
available
had
to
a
us.
satellite and had some of the American stations, which was rare.
Yes. There was a time in the late 90s when we could get DirecTV satellite dishes deprogrammed up here, and people were doing that a lot for DirecTV. My dad did have it for a bit, but then they caught on and then started zapping everyone's cards, and then it was hard to kind of keep on going. So then everyone had to get rid of it. But then if you could also get those like big, huge free to air satellite dishes or whatever, those ginormous fucking ones that
My uncle
country
had
folks had, yeah, then you probably also could get it with those.
Yep.
But for those of us with just
My parents for
Rogers
one day.
cable, no,
Backyard wasn't big enough.
right?
Your backyard wasn't big enough for a satellite dish.
Right.
How's that for a millennial moment?
Yeah.
Kind of like that memory I shared on Facebook, I think yesterday, was like, remember syncing your iPod?
Right. Or just in general, when you're going back to like your memories in Facebook and you go back to 2008 and it says, is doing this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Is having fun at the cottage because it was Stephanie's
Is watching this before the watching is watching like feature
allowed you to add what you were watching features. Yeah, guys, this is old school. Actually, I feel okay. So actually,
well, if you think about it, like next year is like February 4th, I think, is the 19th year anniversary of Facebook's launch.
Yeah.
To like just the universities and then expanding, right? Because I didn't get it till 07.
Yeah, I got it like 06 because Danielle was in university, and then she told me like as soon as it was available to like people, because she was still in university when it happened.
Like 19 years, guys. Facebook's almost old enough to order its own drink.
Did you see what I posted on Facebook this morning?
It is in other provinces right now, but still. Pardon?
Mel C and Bryan Adams' "When You're Gone" song is 24 years old.
Really?
I posted a video this morning. He was in London and she went to his concert, and they both are together refilming the video like 24 years later. They're running down a hallway together and stuff.
24 years old?
Yeah, 1998, she said that they recorded it together.
That song, like
leaving the Spice Girls.
Oh my god.
I know, I should have said that as my millennial moment.
It's almost as old as our friendship.
Yeah.
Almost.
Shy
of a year or something.
Right.
We're 25 next year?
I think so. 97, I think. 97.
So I guess next year would be it's 20. Yeah, 25th.
Yeah.
God damn.
Right. Millennial moment in the making, guys. So next we'll do, like I was complaining about earlier, politically incorrect with Bill Maher. Was stupid. Ran from 93 to 2002. It was American late night half-hour political talk show hosted by Bill Maher. Premiered on Comedy Central for three seasons, and then ABC expressed interest to bring it to their lineup in 97. Again, just like a basically fucking white guy complaining about the far left or far right or whatever. He's a Republican, I believe, is what it was. So he was very
conservative.
Conservative, yes.
Because we don't have Republican and Democratic up here. We have conservative and liberal, apparently.
Yes. So he was so that was why I didn't like it, obviously, because he was just very stupid and annoying. I wasn't into politics at that time, or if I was, it wasn't going to be conservative politics.
I wasn't a fan of I don't know, those types of talk shows, like the politically driven ones. Some of them maybe, but I don't know. Didn't pique my interest as a teenager. I didn't really care. Like, I was a teenager. I didn't give a shit. I think the only world event I actually gave a crap about was 9/11.
Which I was going to say that apparently there was some kind of controversy with the show at 9/11 and it was canceled not long following it.
What was the controversy? Does it say?
Trying to read about, but I didn't want to just leave. Everyone says, aftermath of U.S. President George Bush said that the terrorists responsible were cowards during the September 17th, 2001 episode. One of Maher's guests, Dinesh D'Souza, said, "These are warriors, and we have to realize that the principles of our way of life are in conflict with people in the world." And so, I mean, I'm all for understanding the sociological causes of this, but we should not blame the victim. Americans shouldn't blame themselves because others want to bomb them. Maher agreed and replied, "We have been the cowards lobbing cruise missiles from 2,000 miles away. That's cowardly. Staying in the airplane when it hits the building. Say what you want about it. It's not cowardly." Similar comments were made by others in the media. Advertisers withdrew their support, and some ABC affiliates stopped airing the show temporarily. White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer denounced Maher, warning that people have to watch what they say and watch what they do. Maher apologized and explained that he had been criticizing U.S. military policy, not American soldiers. Show was canceled the following June, which Maher and many others saw as a result of the controversy. Although ABC denied that the controversy was a factor, said the program was canceled due to declining ratings.
Well, okay then.
So yeah, again, reasons. So again, just like a conservative type guy, again, reasons why I didn't enjoy it. I don't know that he just seemed like one of those guys that was like, I have to be right, so I'm going to be the loudest in the room. I don't know if it actually was, but that's just what I perceived of this guy.
I wouldn't say you're wrong at all.
Right.
I'd say you're pretty leaning to the right there. And I mean like right and wrong, right, not right and left, right.
Right and left, right. Yeah. So the next one is actually kind of a silly and fun one, but we still had to add it to the list. Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Never fucking heard of it.
So it's basically a cartoon.
I saw it on your list and I'm just like, I literally never fucking heard of this.
Yeah, so this was an animated talk show hosted by not so superhero Space Ghost and set in deep space. So it was basically like a cartoon talk show. It ran for 11 seasons, actually. It was 11? A Hanna-Barbera. What?
11?
11 seasons.
11 seasons.
Yeah.
That's pretty successful.
Right? Cartoon Network and Adult Swim.
Okay, so Aqua Teen Hunger Force was a spinoff. I get that.
Yeah, he was actually a Hanna-Barbera character created like in the 60s. And then I guess just for a while he went away, and then for some reason in 1994 they decided to do this. Cartoon Network. So the show spoofed late night talk shows with one-time villains Zorak and Moltar serving as Space Ghost sidekicks with occasional guest appearances from other Space Ghost villains.
It doesn't look familiar to me at all, but it looks funny.
I vaguely because it was on Cartoon Network, we didn't have too much access to it, and if it was, I think it was on Teletoon Network, but it was like, again, one of the more later night ones, so I didn't see it all the time. But yes, so there was this skit, and I don't think it was even that, like, I think it was like a half an hour, 20-minute show. Like, it wasn't a super long show or anything by any means, but still got to add it because it's silly cartoon.
That one out. It looks
a silly cartoon late night talk show. Like, why not?
Looks pretty funny.
And then we had Whoopi Goldberg. She had a late night talk show from 92 to 93. 112 episodes, 30-minute interview guest style show. That's the US's. Whoopi. Little rascals. Here's my grandma. Whoopi. Is
it my mom? It's my mom.
Oh, okay. Whoopi.
There two 22-year-olds at my work had no idea that Little Rascals was a TV show before it was a movie. Or did I tell you that already?
I can't remember if you said that or not, but that's there's a lot.
What?
Yeah. Today I was walking through Sobeys and I heard Meghan Trainor's version of I'll Be There For You, the Friends theme song. Yeah, that was the face I was making when I was walking through the store hearing this. I think it was for the 25th anniversary or something. That's what I had to Shazam it to find out who it was, because I was like, who would redo this song?
It wasn't on the Friends reunion.
I didn't think so, but
because I just recently watched that and it wasn't on that.
I Shazammed it, but let me see what Spotify says. But yeah, because I was walking through and all of a sudden I was singing a song and I was like, wait, why is this the Friends song redone? Like, you just hear a song, you start singing the words, and then you just start realizing what the song is before you realize what it is. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, wait, what?
Because so many songs are deep in the recess of our brains, like we don't.
You just start singing it, and it doesn't. You don't even realize what song it is until like 5 minutes or like 3 minutes into it.
Kind of like the Rembrandts remake. No, not the Rembrandts. Yeah, the Rembrandts. The new Rembrandts. No, the one with Beckon Hansen, Courtney Love, and Marilyn Manson. That one?
Oh, the New Radicals.
The New Radicals, thank you. The remake of that song. Fuck that remake.
I know.
Fuck that remake.
It says Friends 25th anniversary, but I don't know if it just the Meghan Trainor.
I'll listen to it later.
It was weird. I'll just tell you that. It was weird. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Lots of remaking of our old songs, guys. And I don't know about you. That was like the other one. I keep seeing the TikTok on it where it's like, anyone under 25 hears this, and it's like, it's the blue, that blue, there's a song that's using that background. So it says anyone under 25 hears this, and they play whatever. Everyone over 25 hears blue, because it's true. Like that's.
If I were green, I would die. If I were green, I would die.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's all that we hear when we hear, like, you take our songs and redo them and we're not hearing what you fucking called, like the Doja Cat one or something like that.
This is why I don't listen to any new stuff, because I know it's just going to
I
make
don't either. I just hear it when I'm out and about, and then of course I have to Shazam it because I'm like, why? Well, it's Sobeys. I need groceries. I can't avoid the grocery store, and they're playing the music. I mean, that's not my fault.
Entirely true. Yeah, I guess that's why I don't.
Because that happened one other time. I was at Zares in Fair or Conestoga, and I started hearing "This Is Your Night" by Amber, and I'm just walking through, and I'm like, "This is your night," and I was like, "Oh my god, like."
Yeah, when the grocery store tunes are the tunes you used to jam to, like in the clubs.
Yeah,
we've reached, adulthood, and fuck adulthood.
Right,
adulthood.
Fuck it. So now to get into,
I was a kid, my mom wouldn't let me have a Twinkie at 10 o'clock in the morning. So yay, adulthood. I'm maddeningly inconsistent.
Right. So now we have our Canadian late night, or I guess evening talk shows. We'll go into some of them. Some of them weren't really late night. Some of them were like kind of 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock talk shows.
But these were our quote unquote nighttime talk shows.
Nighttime talk shows. Yes. Yeah. So first we had,
it got dark early in Canada between September and May. So
I'm sorry guys, like when it gets dark at 6 o'clock in December, you don't want to stay up until 11:30 to watch late night shows. You want your late night shows at 8 o'clock to go to bed by 9. Like, come on. Too much darkness, guys. Too much darkness.
Yeah.
So we have Open Mic with Mike Bullard, which ran from 97 to 03, I believe, on the Comedy Channel, because if I'm not mistaken, 97 was actually when we got a lot of those external cable channels like Comedy Network and like those 40s and 50s channels.
Yep.
Before that, it was like only up to like channel 30 almost.
Yeah, I think Much Music was the last channel, 29.
Yeah, or
I don't even think we got 34. Like, I don't think we got TLC. We didn't get
no, those were
till we didn't get any of that.
Yeah, so like because there was cable, like it was once the digitally cable box or something came out.
Yeah, no, because it stopped at 29 because 30 was sports.
30 was TSN, sports. Yeah, it was like TSN. Yeah. So this one kind of came out when Comedy Network basically launched as a channel.
Yeah, and 33 I think was CNN.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So we got, as we started getting more digital boxes around the middle 90s, late 90s, we started to get different channels launching because we had more spectrum available to us when we started becoming digitally. And then from after that one, after Open Mic with Mike Bullard, he just had the Mike Bullard Show from 03 to 04. Again, Comedy Channel. He's the bald guy.
Something about this guy that bothered me.
I could see that.
I don't know if it was like his personality, the way he came off, or I don't know. It was just something about him I just didn't resonate with me very well. So I never really watched.
He never opened his eyes, I think. He was always kind of looked sort of squinty or like eyes kind of closed or something. So maybe it just,
I don't know. It's just something about him I didn't really particularly like. So I never really watched it.
And I guess he was an ex-hockey player.
I believe that. He's a big dude. I mean, like, he's not a tall guy, but he's a big dude, like muscular wise.
Yeah.
You can tell he was pretty fit.
Yeah. So his former late night talk shows, Open Mic with Mike Bullard on CTV. Oh, okay. And I think comedy as well. And then the Mike Bullard Show on Global, and then the midday radio show Beyond the Mic with Mike Bullard. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there was someone else with the same name. I don't know. But either way. So we had Ed's Late Night Party with Ed the Sock and Leanna K.
Yay.
This one ran on City TV.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Moses Neimer Station.
I like it.
Wasn't on much.
I like this show. It was definitely City TV.
This one was just kind of all over the place. Sometimes they would be at like a party somewhere and just like they were
random interviews with like random people, and it was a great fucking show.
Yeah.
Shout out Ed the Sock.
Shout out to Ed the Sock, who we had on early on in our podcast days.
Yes, we did. Episode 6.
Yep.
My favorite and most cringy. But what I loved about the late nights, late night party was it was followed up by our next show, which was a fantastic show on City TV.
Sunday night sex show with Sue Johansson. So this is where a lot of us
Staple.
millennials learned, I guess, our puberty, sex questions, all of that stuff up here.
Also, right after this show was a show called Sex TV, where you learned all about more stuff about it.
So again, this is why these were late night shows, because they were a little more taboo topics. So they were a little bit later in the day. 11:11, Make a Wish. Sorry.
Ooh.
So this one ran from 96 to 05.
Yes.
What channel was it on?
7, City TV.
City TV? Okay. All right.
And Sue Johansson's a Canadian staple.
Yes.
She was unabashed, unashamed. She answered every question a caller would have without judgment. Like, she was informative, she was educated, like articulate. Like, oh, this woman was the best. Like,
she was our answer to Dr. Ruth.
Yes. And
like she was
on a ton of talk shows. Like, she would come on the late night talk shows and things like that. And
I think she was even sometimes on like City Line or things like she was just known all around everywhere.
Yeah. And
she had the curly hair with her glasses and
and she would do talks and conventions and things like that. And like,
she is 92 years old and still alive.
So much from this woman.
Good on you, Miss Sue Johansson. 92 years old, 92 years young.
This woman,
so she's had quite a few books
growing up as well. Once I was
Canadian writer, public speaker, registered nurse, sex educator, and media personality.
Just awesome. Shout out, Sue. You're the bomb.
Right.
You're the shiznit.
Shiznit at a like I said, 92. That woman taught us, and probably still, teaching or writing or doing stuff. She was awarded or presented the Bonham Center Award from the Mark S. Bonham Center for Sexual Diversity Studies for her contributions to the advancement and education of issues around sexual identification.
Yep.
She also earned her Canada's 4th highest honor after the Victoria Cross, the Cross of Valor, and the Order of Merit, appointment to the Order of Canada in 2010 for lifetime achievement.
Sweet. Congratulations, Sue.
Right?
That's a huge achievement.
TalkSexWithSue.com is her website.
Check it out. I would highly recommend it.
Right?
Yeah.
She opened a birth control clinic in 1970, the first of its kind in Canada.
Nice.
She worked there as coordinator for 18 years.
Wow. Huge human rights activist. Yep.
Sex educator and therapist, hosting her own show on rock radio station Q107 during the 80s. The show, entitled Sunday Night Sex Show, transitioned to a TV talk show of the same name on the community television Rogers TV in 85. In 96, it became a show on the Women's Television Network and ended in 2005. Reruns of the show began in 2002 and replayed to the American audiences on Oxygen Media. Recorded program was very popular, but American viewers missed the opportunity to call in and ask their own questions. Ha! Suckers, for once, you get left out, because we get left out of yours all the time.
Yeah.
The U.S. version Sunday night sex show called Talk Sex with Sue Johansson, produced especially for American audiences, debuted in November 2002 on Oxygen. Talk Sex with Sue Johansson was divided into several segments, all covering the following topics: sexual life, love and relationships. Call-in segments included viewers' live calls with questions being answered by Johansson on a variety of sex topics. In 2008, it was announced that the next Sunday's nights would be the last, ending its 6 seasons. So it actually ran until 2008 because the Americans took her for another couple of years.
Yeah, well, everything's got to end, right?
It's true. She was,
it was great to have her while we did.
Right? Like we said, she taught a lot of us how to,
I mean, because we had sex ed in school, but I mean, they didn't exactly answer, like, not everyone was comfortable asking the questions they wanted to.
Yeah.
And and the teachers didn't necessarily have those answers, or
and they did, right? They didn't have the resources, right? And especially in the 90s when it was become like you had the AIDS crisis kind of still rearing its head. You had a lot of people that were like the gay kind of coming out with that as well. Like there was a lot of questions that people were still afraid to ask at that time
because it was so taboo. It was like, you don't talk about sex in public. It's whatever, you stay behind closed doors. It was,
we were still very Christian.
Now we're getting into the age where sex is being normalized. It's a very normal thing. Like everybody fucking does it, like, or not everybody does it, but most people do it. And it's like it should be
It's
super
like
normal.
those everybody poops.
Yeah, we are very open about like sexual talk at work.
Yeah.
All right.
So next we have this one was actually kind of interesting hearing
Oh
it
my
because it was
god.
Canadian first, which is
This
hilarious.
fucking guy.
The Tom Green Show.
I couldn't fucking stand this guy. Like, still fucking can't stand to see his shit.
Like even though he was Canadian, sometimes we were a little not cool that he was Canadian because some of it was, kind of dumb, off the hook, off
the
hook.
Or like his character in Road Trip. Yeah. They're all the same. All of his characters are monotonous, just dumb, blank
Stoner
stare, doesn't
type.
know shit, kind of stupid fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
And I couldn't
or another shock value.
I don't know.
That was another thing he did.
Yeah, and I don't understand how he managed to bag Drew Barrymore.
Who knows? For a few years too.
That's
like
the best.
Chad. Oh,
Chad.
It was not the Chad. So this one first aired in September 1994.
Yeah, of course we got with Tom Green, if you didn't know.
Right, Tom Green Show. Yeah. So it first ran from September 1994 on Rogers Television in Ottawa, Channel 22 until 1996.
That's dated.
Yep. It was a single pilot episode was made for CBC television, and then the Comedy Network greenlit the show from 97 to 1999. Which I do remember when it was on the Comedy Network, actually. And then I guess it went over to MTV as well.
As do I, but I can't believe that there's that many people out there that like him that much for him to last that long.
Yeah. And it stopped for production due to his testicular cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with that, obviously. So makes sense why you can't really,
I'm not one to judge very much, but Tom Green, like, really? I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know either. Like, I don't know.
I guess like he's an acquired taste, I guess, like almost anybody else or anything else, but I don't understand his humor. I don't find it funny at all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
next I wasn't either. But yeah, we have to mention it. And other people clearly did like it. So he did last.
It did last quite a while. So he's got to have fans out there.
Right. He went on to MTV. He went on to all that stuff,
No judgment, guys, but why?
I don't know. Beats me. So next we have our ex MTV news guy. Much music, MTV. Much music, not MTV. Much music. It wasn't a V. He was kind of like, he was like part-time VJ. He more so usually did the news.
Yeah, but still.
Yep. George Stroumboulopoulos.
Much music VJ. Yeah.
And yes, that is how it kind of sounds. Stroumboulopoulos. Like it just sounds like a
lot of O's
word. For a lot of people for a long time when we'd see his name on Much Music, we're like, so they called him Strombo. That was what his nickname was called because a lot of people just messed it up, I guess. So he actually had the Strombo Show, and then it went to George Stroumboulopoulos Tonight, which premiered in 2005, or was it the Hour? Hold on. Sorry, it started out as the Hour in 2005 with George Stroumboulopoulos, and then in 2010 it changed the name to George Stroumboulopoulos Tonight, and then it ran until 2014 when he became, I believe, the Hockey Night in Canada guy.
Mm-hmm.
March 2014 he became the Hockey Night in Canada, replacing Ron McLean and what's his face, Don Cherry.
Yep.
As well.
I recall always getting George Stroumboulopoulos confused with Bill Welichka. They don't look anything alike,
but
like barely, but I always got them confused and I don't know why.
Right? So he won 8 Gemini Awards for
Good for him.
The Hour and Stroumboulopoulos Tonight.
Good on you, George.
It was a hybrid of news and celebrity, covered everything from politics, pop culture, the environment, human rights, entertainment, sports, and more. Wide range of guests. He had world leaders, celebrities, politicians. He had everybody on this show. I feel like there was never not someone he wouldn't talk to. Like, even if they were a different, like, he kind of like, I feel like some of our an agenda. Like there's a left or right wing agenda. He just always was like, I'm here to present the world and the facts as it is.
Like he
and
didn't
let you decide.
He didn't have a preferred type of client or guest or whatever.
He wanted to show like everybody like that there is so much more out there. Like, okay, yes, this person is for this, but listen to what their story is behind why this is, or so. Like he just tried to make you understand the world differently. And I think that's why it was
very unbiased.
Yes. I think that's why he was so good in the job.
He was so likable.
Right?
Like he made you feel comfortable and stuff. Like he was one VJ that I never got to meet, which upsets me.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I've met a few and he was one that I did not get to, which sucks.
Just like Rick. Rick was always, like I said, he's just such a nice guy. Rick? No, I have met Rick. But again, he's just one of those. Rick. He's just one of those nice guys. Like, that's what I mean. Like, he's just a nice guy. You could tell on TV that you're just like, this guy seems like he's so nice. And even like, you see, there's a few him and Ed were on something recently together. And you're just like, he's still just like, Rick is still super fucking nice. He won't ever say anything terribly bad or rude about nothing. Like, it's just who he is.
I just listened to Ed the Sock's podcast episode with him and Rick Campanelli and Bill Welichka talking about their experience at Woodstock 99.
I was going to listen to that one because I heard about it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
And this talk like rips apart the creators and promoters of Woodstock 99. Like they're just like, they're fucking idiots. Like they don't know what they're fucking doing. Like it's
so funny
about like the chaos that's happening.
Because we were watching the Netflix documentary or whatever, and there's like a couple of instances where they're showing their footage.
Yeah.
Well, because there's one where they're going to the bathrooms and Rick the Temp is talking to the guy about the porta potties, and it's like a good like 4-minute segment with like Rick the Temp, and I was like, it's Rick the Temp, like
the Temp being on there for 15 years,
right?
Something like that, 9 years, 10 years, something like that.
It was a while he was on there. They just eventually called him Rick Campanelli, but yeah, for the longest time it was Rick the Temp. Oh, hilarious. So the next one we've got is Street Sense. It wasn't really so much of as a talk show as kind of like a news magazine TV series directed at teenagers. Ran from 1989 to 2006. Was one of the few shows that focused on consumer and media awareness for young people. It won several Gemini Awards and even an International Emmy for Best Youth Programming or Series. It was good for it. Yeah, it was one of those again. So it was, I guess there was on CBC, there was like the adult version of Marketplace. The show aired without commercial interruption because the producers did not want the bias of advertising revenue to affect the potential criticism of the advertisers' products or services.
I see that. I remember watching this. Like I would come across this a few times and I'd watch it.
One of the show's original hosts, Jonathan Torrens, started a YouTube reboot of the series in 2019 called Your 2 Cents. The CBC subsequently announced its own revival of Street Sense brand as a TikTok account in 2022. So they're still out there, which makes sense because, like, especially in this day and age with like fake news, fake media, fake this and everything, like it's kind of a good thing that Street Sense would come back because maybe there are like kids nowadays do need to critically think for, you know, not clicking on those articles and giving away people your information.
Waking up Riley.
No. Yeah, so it ran on CBC. The next one,
I absolutely remember that show for sure.
Was This Hour Has 22 Minutes.
This Hour Has 22 Minutes.
Which is kind of
never watched it.
Danielle watched it in the early years because it was Mary Walsh, I think it was. She really liked or something like that. So Danielle watched sometimes in the early years. Or was it? No, or was there someone Mary Walsh was on before? But Rick Mercer was on this. Sean Majimder was on it. Kathy Jones, like some Mary Walsh. A lot of big name Canadian comedians usually kind of got their start from this particular show. It was kind of just like a Canadian sketch sort of comedy show, but sort of like they kind of made it seem like a news show as well a little bit.
Did they report actual news and make fun of it, or
no? Like they would, I think like at the first it would start out and like they would sit behind like what would look like a news desk, and then it would go into like sketch comedy segments and stuff like that. But I remember it was.
I don't think I ever watched it, like ever.
Yeah, the news never looked the same when this show came on the air. These Toronto-based anchors
Sounds like I probably should have watched it.
and roving correspondents dish commentaries and sketches that shed a whole new light on keeping on top of the headlines. Every week, Canadians tune in to unique satire that explores all the events that make the world as well as heads turn.
Well, okay then.
Yeah. So yeah, like the news sketch. It's kind of interesting.
I mean, it sounds intriguing now. Like it piques my interest now. Just maybe didn't back then. I don't know.
Right.
Because I only had the TV Guide channel. I didn't have like fucking Google at my fingertips to Google to see what a show was about.
Right.
So, and you had to go based on the title. This hour has 22 minutes. Sounds kind of like a news program. And sorry, 16-year-old Lindy's not gonna fucking watch that. She's not.
Yeah. Like I said, Danielle watched it just because of like some of the other comedians. She was very much into like the comedy, like when Comedy Network came out, she was watching it all the time, and there was lots of shows that she was, and yeah, that's where I kind of got it. Like I said, she didn't watch it all the time, but just occasionally I'd see sometimes.
I started to as I got older, but not as a teenager. No.
Yeah. Then lastly, I have E-Talk, which was a entertainment talk show on I think CTV. I think it was. I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
I think CTV. I feel like it was a CTV. But yeah, so again, another.
I remember the show, but I couldn't tell you a host. I couldn't.
Me neither. But it was
white and red, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like at one point, anyway. Because
I think wasn't Brian Mulroney the host at one point? Maybe. That was one of our prime ministers.
Ben Mulroney.
Brian Mulroney was the prime minister.
The prime minister.
One of his sons was on it.
Yeah. That was I watched that show quite a bit. Another
Tracy
girl is,
Melcher was one of them.
Wasn't oh my god, what is her name? Rysick. Julie Rysick? No. Yeah. Julie Rancic?
I think Julie Rancic sounds familiar.
Is she E-Talk? Or was she Entertainment Tonight? Or maybe ET Canada?
Maybe ET Canada.
Oh no, I remember her being a host of one of those shows. I don't remember a lot of the hosts. I remember Mary Hart.
Oh, Tracy Melcher. Okay, now I remember who she is. Well, like I'm like the name sounds familiar, and they said she got her start on Rap City on Much Music. And I was like, okay, so that's why her name sounds familiar. So I was like, Tracy Melcher. Why is it? But yeah, she would have been one of the Much Music VJs at one point. But yeah, that's
just an entertainment talk show that just gave the entertainment news in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, pretty much. Nothing much.
Kind of like paparazzi of TV shows.
Yes, or like your version of Entertainment Tonight, like we said, kind of type thing. Like there's, was there any other late night talk shows or Canadian ones that we might have missed, or in general, anything we might have?
I don't know. I don't think so. Like I said, I didn't watch a lot of talk shows. I like sitcoms. I liked cartoons.
Which is funny, guys. Like we said, there's so like in the 90s, like talk shows, like I said, we've had them in 3 different segments. Talk shows were so prominent. It
was just oversaturated. It was almost like you feel overwhelmed trying to choose something to watch now on your multiple streaming services that have thousands of fucking things each to choose from. Like trying to choose a fucking talk show to watch was and generally if like the talk shows all originate in like the same area, like a lot of talk shows were in New York. So one celebrity would hit every single talk show in one day.
Yeah.
So that talk show would have the same guest on like all week. There would be the same guest on all the talk shows. It was just, just like, oh, this person again. Like I just saw them, they're going to be talking about the same thing.
The same article. Maybe if you're lucky, they'll present a different clip it of the movie. But usually
if you're lucky.
It. Yeah. And so you're just like, I'm just over it. I don't like, why am I watching the same interview 15 times?
Yeah. But it's just like the oversaturation of shows and streaming services we have now. Like there's just way too many to choose from. And what I really fucking hate about that is that I miss going to like, back then it was school, but like going to work the next day and talking about the show that everybody watches. Because not everybody watches
Cobra Kai or whatever, like She-Hulk or something like that.
I know one person that watches only Murders in the Building. Luckily I work with her, so I have someone to talk to about that. Nobody I know watches Big Brother. Like the finale's on Sunday. I'm dying to talk about it with somebody, but nobody fucking watches it. Like like you can't. I don't think anybody watched the Shannara Chronicles. Like Aaron and I are rewatching those again.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, you can't talk about your favorite shows anymore.
Unless it's one of the big popular ones, like I said.
Yeah, unless it's
But
like Stranger Things 4, what that just came out, or Cobra Kai. I haven't even had a chance to watch Cobra Kai yet.
But even at that, you have to, everyone is watching Cobra Kai on their own time. It's not like you had to watch it that day, because if not, you can't catch the rerun.
That's what I fucking hate too about social media. So if I haven't watched like Stranger Things, when Stranger Things 4 came out, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to watch it like at midnight right away. The next, like on the 27th when it came out, my Facebook feed was gonna be filled with spoilers. So I had to go through and snooze all the Stranger Things Facebook pages that I follow.
Well, but that's the other problem, is because Facebook and all these other ones are sending us algorithms and forcing us, like, because we looked at it, they're forcing us the information that we don't want, which is the other problem.
Like, I don't know many times how, like, because I can't watch Big Brother until the next day at like noon, or even the day after that until like noon, because that's when it goes on the global app. And like the next day I'll be scrolling through my Facebook and I'll see, oh, so-and-so won the HOH. I was like, well, there was a fucking spoiler. Awesome. Now I know who wins HOH. Or now I know who got fucking evicted. Like it, like, so I snoozed it like after the first like week or two of watching Big Brother, so I wouldn't fucking get spoiled with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But and then there was an episode on last night that's not on the global app yet. Like I watched Thursday's episode this morning, but Friday's episode isn't on the app yet. So that might be on tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it. Yeah. Because tomorrow night's the finale, and then I'll watch that on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Exactly. Drink off topic.
Right. But it's there, like I said, there's so many talk shows, so much to have watched, and
so much to choose from. So pick your own, and if you happen to be watch the same things as other people, awesome, good luck.
Right. But yeah, did you watch any of these particular late night shows? Was there one host that you liked better than the others? Let us know.
What's an episode of one that sticks out in your mind?
Do you remember when David Letterman was a douchebag to someone else besides the ones we listed? Let us know. We want to know.
Are you old enough to remember Jay Leno before he was gray?
Right. Oh, geez. We're too old. So on that note, follow us, listen to us on all of the Spotify's and everything. Like us, comment, subscribe, all of that, joyous, fun stuff that we need your love to send us out to other people so people can like us and listen to us.
Word of mouth, guys. Tell your friends.
Right? Tell them how fun we are and how awesome.
Tell your enemies too, because they could enjoy us.
Right? If you really didn't like us, then tell us. Tell your enemies about us, and then they have to listen to our annoying voices. Ha ha ha.
Maybe yours, not mine.
I'm saying for their enemies. I'm not saying we actually are annoying, but if they find us annoying, their enemies might find us annoying. So that's why I say.
All right. Well, take care, y'all, and
we will see you in the next episode. And enjoy, holidays, Thanksgiving coming up soon, maybe. Yeah.
This episode comes out on this 30th. No, that's next weekend. Yeah, so it comes out on the 7th.
So Thanksgiving weekend. So enjoy your turkey, guys, everybody.
For our Canadian listeners.
Yes, enjoy your turkey day.
Our American listeners have Thanksgiving in November. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Like a month before Christmas. Come on. Like, who wants that much turkey that close to each other?
I know, right? And like October, Thanksgiving, there's usually a good chance it'll be warm enough to eat outside.
Right, or even just enjoy your day outside.
Yeah, the beautiful fall colors because it's not snowing yet. Well, for those southern states, it doesn't snow, but except for Texas, when you guys get your fucking centimeter and you cry about it. Anyway, bye-bye.
Yes, we're not gonna get into that. We will see you guys over here. Talk to you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked it, be sure to check out our previous episodes on our website at www.millennialspod.com. And also, you can check them out on Spotify, Anchor, Google, or Apple Podcasts. While you're there, hit the follow and subscribe buttons so you can stay up to date on all of our latest episodes. Also, you can follow us on all of the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Turn of the Millennials Pod, and like us on Facebook to leave a comment and a review. We greatly appreciate it. We will see you next episode.